Okay, here we go. This is a little bit different right now, because, um, I am a noob and a dumbass, and I, recorded a crap ton of Witcher 3, with my microphone on mute, this past weekend. So, what I'm doing right now is I am going to try to do some commentary as I watch. So I'm going to do basically commentary after the fact, as I'm watching the video of me playing, of myself playing the game. So, yeah, that's what we're doing right now. I don't know how well this will succeed. I don't know if I'll have very much to say. I think probably most of what I did is pretty self-explanatory anyway. But, you know, I don't know. I'll try to be clever, and we'll see how this goes. If it doesn't work out very well, then I might just, you know, upload a few episodes without audio commentary, so you can just watch me dick around playing the game without having to hear me say dumb, asinine things all the time. So, yeah, I guess we'll see how this goes. I wanted to visit this Soothsayer, I think, first, yeah, because, this quest didn't have a level associated with it, which I assume in the game means that, it's, like, a pretty low-level quest. Like, if it's so low that that it doesn't even have a recommended level associated with it, or it doesn't involve any combat or anything, so that it can be done at basically any level, is what I assume it means when there's no actual level attached to a particular quest. I will say, in general, I tend to, especially with a really big game like this that's got a lot of quests and a lot of things to do in it, I tend to favor doing lower level stuff and then higher level stuff.
Not so
Because
fast, Roach.
I figure or somehow assume to a certain extent that that is more or less the order in which things are, in which I guess the developers kind of intend it to be played in. Even though, I mean, you know, you can pretty much do things in any order you want, but more or less, you know, I like to do things sort of
What about
in order,
them mines that took the wenches from Bellows
lower
to?
level to higher level. Even when I'm on level for, you know, some
He's an
quests
arse,
and
not
over
a
level for
baron.
other
A
things,
bandit with sorry
I'll
rabble
prefer the
for
lower
armed men.
levels things.
Watch what you
first.
say, old man.
Or what?
That's just my
I tell
way
you,
of doing
black ones will
things.
drive him off sooner or later. Or he'll end
It
like the last
helps
man.
me have, like, a direction in which to go in a big open game like this.
Remember the time
Because otherwise
Baron
there's so much to
pierced
do
the
that I just sit there going, what am I going to do next?
A
And then,
witcher.
I never get anything done because I have no idea what I'm going to do. So that's
Understand you
me.
have a contract for me.
Oi, it's my brother Mickle. Been a week now since he took the women of Bellows into the hills.
The women of Bellows?
Bellows were a rich village, till the war passed through. Huts were burned down, larders cleared out, all the menfolk conscripted. Women were left to fend for themselves, without food nor shelter. No one wanted them. Redanians wouldn't let them into Novigrad, so Mickle took them to the old mines. Get them out of the rain at least. And I've not had word from him since.
All right, I'll look for your brother. How will I recognize him?
Shouldn't be hard. He was the only lad in a group of women.
Corpses aren't always in a condition where I can determine the sex.
Corpses? Take it back. They got lost is all. But, if worst comes to worst, well, he had calfskin ankle boots, work of Master Clogs. Told him not to wear him into the hills, he'd only ruin him. But he was so proud of him.
Think I know enough. Thanks.
So, something that's interesting that I saw somebody bring up on Twitter the other day, is this idea that, Geralt expects to be paid for the work that he does, for doing these things for people. And NPCs in-game tend to get kind of offended about it when you demand money for the service that you render. And, it's interesting. It's an interesting thought. It's an interesting dynamic because I think to some extent it is intentional, like on the part of the game developers, that, people expect you to sort of do these things out of the goodness of your heart. I really appreciate the fact in these games that they kind of acknowledge that someone like Geralt wouldn't be able to go around and do these things purely out of, a charitable spirit or whatever. You might do some pro bono work to endear yourself to the natives, but, a guy like Geralt still has to eat, he still has to live in this world, and I really appreciate the fact that the game acknowledges this, by, having him say a lot of times, this is my job, I have to get paid for this because this is how I live, this is my life. In the same way that, a blacksmith has to, is going to demand payment for the things that he does. You make a sword, you're not going to just give it away because that's your skill that you have, that's your trade. And Geralt's trade is killing monsters. So yeah, he renders a service, he renders a much needed service in many cases, but it's a service for which he expects to be paid. It is his vocation, it is his job, it is his career, it is how he lives. And I really appreciate that about this game because, a lot of games you're just kind of running around heroing, and that can be a lot of fun,
Damn it.
like, I'm just doing this because it's the right thing sort of idea. But I kind of appreciate the fact that in these games and in this particular world, Geralt is, he's kind of a mercenary, but not in a bad way. Like, that doesn't make him evil. You can be a good person and demand money for the work that you do, I go to work every day and I demand payment for the work that I do, and I don't think that makes me evil because, I have to live, right? We live in a capitalist system. That's how the world works. So I really like that about these games. And it does really sort of force you to think about, how we understand, what's morally correct and what isn't. And, NPCs getting a little butt mad that you demand payment for the service that you render. I find it kind of an interesting dynamic. Of course, they're also, often racist against Geralt to some extent, or in some sense, prejudice against him. Geralt and Witchers are considered kind of a necessary evil, so. Oh yes, we've liberated another village or something. But I really enjoy that about this game too, is that, I can do something like, I can be on a particular quest, and I can say, okay, well, I'm doing this quest, and just along the way, right, I don't even necessarily have to go out of my way, but just, along the way of a particular quest, I can just sort of run into these little things and do them, and accomplish these other things and find treasure and help some people and kill some monsters, and still, complete the quest that I'm working on or whatever. It's a really fun and kind of intuitive way to play a game, and I enjoy it quite a bit in that sense.
I ever have a son, I'll name him Geralt.
I
What
just hop
now,
on my horse
you
and then
piece
I'm
of
like,
filth?
oh no, I guess not. I'll kill these other things too while I'm here. Like, might as well. So for your reference, the Soothsayer that we're looking to visit is this fellow. If you remember a few episodes ago, there was a notice on a notice board in Oxenford, I think it was, that said, you know, nobody visit the Soothsayer, he's a liar and a con man, or whatever. That's the guy we're seeing. Basically just to sort of, you know, see if this guy's actually, you know, worth listening to, or if he's just a kook and a quack. Not sure I really like watching myself play these games. And it's just sort of painfully aware of every little mistake that I make when I'm in combat, especially. It's like, shouldn't have done that. Ooh, should have done that. If I could have just done this other thing, maybe I wouldn't have messed up so bad. Maybe that's just me. I had to say, also, watching yourself play a video game while a cat climbs all over you is something. It's sure something. Still haven't figured out why he calls his horse Roach. Just FYI. I'm still waiting to hear back on that. Like, when is that? When are we gonna find this out? Admittedly, I'm still only like maybe a third of the way through the story, I think. Like, really not a... Oh, somebody needs help.
Bad idea.
I guess we can do that. Probably. Like, yeah, see, I'm sitting here like, behind you, behind you. It's dumb, it's dumb.
Damn cheap guards! You get your coin's worth, even less. Thank you, Witcher. Where would I be without you?
Your guards run off.
Louts didn't get the chance, thank the gods. It's them you cut down, waited until we passed the last settlements, then attacked. And to think, I made sure the scoundrels were well armed. We stood no chance against them.
Never trust a mercenary.
Hiring thugs? Not a good idea these days. Need someone you can trust to guard a caravan.
I cannot afford to enlist anyone permanently.
Where'd you find these men?
Former Temerian soldiers, they claim to be. Of all people, I thought they'd know the trade.
Knew it all too well, in a way.
Thank you. Please, this was to be theirs at our destination. Now it's yours.
The thinking customer will see right away I've got the best deals this side of the Pontar.
Loot everything, friends. That's my advice to anybody playing an RPG, especially an RPG like this. Loot everything. I probably should have just taken that sword. Swords are kind of heavy, and they take up, so they weigh you down pretty quickly. Weapons do, but I think I might just go ahead and start looting more of them, because they also sell relatively well to merchants, and I am still like I'm still finding money a little bit hard to come by. I still have a bunch of currency that I need to exchange in Novigrad for crowns. That's probably going to be one of the next things on my list to do, because I'm a lazy bum and I haven't actually properly gotten into Novigrad yet at all. Even though I am now the right level to go ahead and go into Novigrad. But as soon as I do that, like, the first thing I'll do is probably go to the bank and exchange that useless junk currency for actual usable crowns. It's an interesting concept. I've never had that kind of thing in a game happen in a game. Usually, you know, any money you find is money that's good, and it's all usable, but yeah, not in this game. It's interesting. In the first game, the currency in Witcher 1 was the Orin. The Orin was the currency of Temeria under King Foltest. And Orins are some of the coins that I have that I need to exchange in Novigrad for crowns, which is the new currency. So it's interesting. I've never really seen that in a game before. I have to kind of stop myself physically from looting every single plant that I pass by, just because, you know, you can't possibly loot all of them. It's not something that's very feasible at all. But part of me would really like to sometimes. I'm just like, oh, I can't just get all these. Boy, more of them? The wild dogs just, they are pretty...
What now, you
They are a pretty big problem. And it's raining again, looks like. We still haven't even gotten to the Soothsayer yet. And we're like almost 20 minutes into this play. That's how this game is, though. It's just like... You just play, and
Take it easy.
before you know it, hours and hours have gone by. And if you heard that crash, that's my cat in the closet, jumping around.
Hey there.
See, this is me sitting here going, should I or should I not? Like, I can probably just pass these by if I wanted to, but... I don't know, I can't just leave these monsters running around here, you know? You know, they're damn neckers. And boy, they really gang up on you.
Damn it.
That was pretty close. My gosh. I'm already sitting here like, don't die, don't die! Even though I know I don't die. Well, I mean, if I can remember. mean, I shouldn't be surprised that it took me this long just to go see a Soothsayer. Just because, you know, like, what was it, earlier episode, it took me like 45 minutes just to find a place to repair my weapons. Like,
Run, Roach.
what? But that's all part of learning a new game, you know? And now that I know where to go to get that done, it won't happen like that again. And I mean, you know, it's not like it was a boring 45 minutes. It was interesting. At least I found it interesting and engaging. I don't know if, you know, people watching it find it as interesting as I did playing it, but, you know, if you do, let me know.
He's ours! The cunt's ours!
Deserve it. The guys with shields are such a pain in the ass. Like, you have to,
We'll flail your skin off.
I mean, you basically have to use, your Axie sign on the shield guys, in order to get them to, like, drop their shields.
As it should have. Get him! Come on! With vigor, lads!
Damn it.
Shit.
Yeah, Axie. See, you have to, that's what you have to do for the shield guys. Otherwise, they're just gonna block you every single time. Because they have a giant shield. Why don't I get a shield? I mean, I know why I don't get a shield, but still. Sometimes I think it would be nice. Even though I'm not usually like a sword and board kind of person. Like, when I have a choice, I don't usually go for the sword and board style of gameplay, so I probably shouldn't complain too much. I tend to prefer the magic stuff, so. So, treasure hunts hidden from the world. I don't even remember if did I do this? Did I track it and do it? Or did I just go for the... Oh yeah, here we go. Listen up, you stupid git. Go on, keeping the treasure out for all to see like that. We won't keep it very long at all. What, you think we're the only bandits around? Well, knowing what a fool you are, perhaps you do. So here's me telling you, no, we ain't. So be a good little dunce and hide it somewhere where only you and me will know how to find it again. Otherwise, I'll tan your arse till it's red as a watermelon. Metki. Metki is not a very nice guy, is he? I don't know. I think Drabik maybe should dump him and find somebody else to work with. And should we thus submit our life to religion, or should we interpret religion so that it serves our lives instead? There are as many schools as there are philosophers, as many stories as there are human beings, and let us not forget elven beings, nor dwarven, halfling, gnomish ones, nor any other such sapient creature familiar with the quandaries of the soul. I, for my part, having survived now more than 120 years, vodka and radishes work wonders, lend no credence to anyone who claims differently, can swear with all certainty that there is no way to reconcile every one at once, and what pleases one will provoke whinging and sulking in another, and will undoubtedly cause a third to reach for his knife if it dares depart from his known, narrow world by so much as a hair. What then are we to do? How should we live? Why, as we like, as our soul urges, disregarding all the brayings of philosophers and ethicists, those contained in this tome included, disregard them as we would fairy tales or old wives' legends. That's a really interesting perspective to have in a medieval fantasy, I gotta say. And, you know, I think Geralt probably adheres to that sort of thing too. He's not particularly religious. But he's also not rude about it. Like, if other people have religious beliefs, he's not gonna, like, you know, shit on them. But he's also a pretty practical guy, I think. In the same way that he's apolitical, I think he's just sort of a-religious. I wouldn't say he's like an atheist in the sense of being like actively non-believing, but just more like, you know, religion isn't really something that he does. So am I tracking this now? No? Boy, I sure am indecisive about this, aren't I? It's like, come on, Frodo, just track it already. That's all you need to do, Frodo. Just track it. Just track it. But maybe not. Maybe I just decided that the Soothsayer was more important that time. Or maybe I'm gonna track it. No. Okay, we'll go to the Soothsayer. It's so weird to watch myself play the game, because, like, I'm sure, like, when I was recording it, when I was actually playing it and talking at the same time, like, it made sense to me, like, my logic made sense to me at the time, but after the fact, it's sort of like, what? What was I doing? What was I thinking? What the hell? It's a little strange.
Hey there.
Half for you, half for us. There'll be 3 of yous and 4 of us. It don't add up. But it's fit.
Steal much?
See any monsters, eh? Sort of which, we've no need for you.
Actually, I see several monsters.
I see a few monsters.
Where? Drummy, damn it, dumber than a hunk of lard you are. He means us.
We're common folk. You're the mutant. The poxy freak. Get him, lads!
I remember how this is gonna turn out. Badly for me. But, you know, I'm okay with that in this game. So far, the challenge has been, for the most part, pretty much on a level where I like it, because I'm dying sometimes, but I'm not feeling like I'm banging my head against a brick wall when I do. You know, I die, and then I realize what I did wrong, and I change it the next time, and then I succeed, so it's fine. That's the level of challenge that I like to have, is that sort of, you know, learning from your mistakes kind of thing. Those shields are a pain in the ass.
Damn it.
See, this is where I was like, I should have used my, Axie. And then the last guy got me. So, you know, like, that was relatively okay. Like, that was a relatively decent showing for me, but, you know, it's one of those things where I knew at the time what I did wrong, and so it was, like, it didn't frustrate me. Like, it was kind of annoying that I had to do it again, but it didn't frustrate me too much, and I knew that I would probably, you know, I knew I'd be able to get it the next time around, so it was totally fine.
Take it easy.
Of course, then it tosses me way back here. But, you know, that's how it goes. But, you know, I've picked up a few tips and tricks too here and there. You know, the throwing Quen on myself before combat. That's a tip that I picked up. Just, you know, I read around a little bit. I'm trying not to. I don't want to spoil myself because I like to, you know, maintain that kind of, you know, surprise and not knowing exactly what's coming up. But you know, there have been a few like sort of spoiler-free tips and tricks kind of guides that I've been looking at, just to, you know, help myself improve a little bit and give me some ideas for how to, you know, do a little bit better in combat so that I'm not making a complete fool of myself. And yeah, so things like, you know, if I know I'm going to go into combat, throw Quen on myself as a shield before I go into combat, because if you do it before you go into combat, it stays up for quite a long time, for one thing. And also, your stamina replenishes much faster out of combat than in combat. So if you put the Quen shield on yourself before you actually enter combat, then your stamina will probably regen like almost immediately, and you will be able to switch your sign over to Igni or Axii or something, and use another sign almost immediately after, you know, throwing up that shield on yourself, and you can take a few more hits, and you can use a sign again really quickly. So it's a really good strategy to use, like just in general, like a general kind of strategy.
Steal much?
See any monsters, eh? Sort of which, we've no need for you.
Actually, I see a few monsters.
Where? Dremmy, damn it, dumber than a hunk of lard you are. He means us.
We're common folk. You're the mutant, the poxy freak. Get him, lads!
Yeah, you know, I like to keep moving, especially when, you know, I've got a big group, because the AI is pretty smart when you've got a big group, in that, you know, they will always try to surround you, and that can be a problem, because you take way more damage from behind than you do from the front. So if they get behind you and start hitting you, they're going to do critical damage on you, in the same way that you do critical damage from behind as well. So, so you want to try to get behind the guys, and you don't want to let them get behind you. Is what the, you know, is the general idea. I totally just dismembered that guy. That's cool. The death blows are very impressive in this game, I gotta say. That's my Thunderbolt. You know, again, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. You know, this game really rewards preparation and forethought. You do not just go running into combat situations. You always want to check before you go into these situations. Know what kind of enemies you're facing, you know, if you're going to be facing a bunch of guys, or if you're going to be just facing one big guy. You know, are they humanoids? Are they monsters? What are your strategies for all of these different kinds of enemies, etc., etc.? Because that's how you win. That is how you win this game. That is winning. I think I might actually get to the Soothsayer soon, you know? But of course I have to loot everything. You know, you kill them and then you take all their stuff. That is the rule. That's the rule of life in RPGs. You kill somebody, you get to take their stuff. My sword needs to be repaired really bad. I hope I get to do that pretty soon too. Also, in terms of length of videos, it's kind of tough to sort of determine what's a good length for these videos. I try to keep them to under an hour, just, you know, for ease of, well, my own ease of uploading, just because, you know, it gets to be an hour or more, and that can take forever to upload to YouTube on my internet connection. So, and I know, you know, some folks might be watching these that have, you know, kind of not very good internet connections either, and not necessarily terribly good for watching YouTube videos. So, you know, I'm trying to do that, but I also want to make sure that the videos are long enough that, you know, I'm actually doing interesting things in every video and actually making progress in every video, because I don't want to spend, like, if it's just 20 minutes of me wandering around or doing inventory management, like, I should also have, like, 20 minutes of me actually, like, doing a quest, and doing something, you know, that's worth watching. And that's not just sort of potentially really boring, because it's, you know, I want to keep them interesting too. So I think between like 30 and 50 minutes is usually long enough for me to accomplish something, but still short enough to keep the length manageable, to keep the uploading time manageable and stuff. So yeah, we can enhance armor at armorer's tables now. So we can enhance weapons at blacksmith tables and enhance armor at armorer tables. So of course, enhancing weapons increases your damage output for a certain amount of time. Enhancing armor increases your armor stat for a certain amount of time, so you can, you know, take more damage. So that's, you know, really useful information to have.
Wonder what happened.
Overturned cart? Better check it out. Every time I accidentally hit that damn sign.
Somebody was bound. Rope was cut quickly, with a dull blade.
Contract. Phantom of the Trade Route. But that is, yeah, that's much higher level than what I am at this point. As I'm about to find out. Yeah, 23 is suggested level of that. Yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. For a while. I think I may have said it in one of my other videos, but as far as I can tell, I think 35 is probably the highest level in this game. I have not actually seen anybody confirm or deny a level cap, but that's the highest level quest that I have seen in the game. I have not seen anything higher than 35, so I'm kind of operating on the assumption that the level cap is 35 right now, at least for the moment. Of course, one of the beautiful things about this game is that CD Projekt Red has already announced and even have released some DLC. There has already been a free DLC mission release. I've not played it yet. We'll get to it, I'm sure, eventually. And, you know, a mix. There's going to be a mix of free and paid DLC, as well as 2 full expansions to this game. I'm not sure what the expansions will entail at this point, but they have said that there will be 2 full expansions to this game.
Come closer.
And here's the Soothsayer. Alright, here we are.
We know each other?
Sage.
Not personal like, though I've seen ye many times. I've a gift. I see the future. Yours as well.
But not for free, I guess.
I don't ask much, if you've a bite to eat.
Tell me about your gift.
Been having these visions long?
Since I were a tyke. Me mother took me to the village witch once. I fells into a cauldron full of some magic brew.
I bet you did.
Seriously?
If I'm to tell it serious, 'twere as a youth that I got hit in the back of my head with a rock. Started seeing more than others.
Here.
Thank ye. A fine offering. Well worth a foretelling.
All right. Let's hear it.
I see a white wolf. He enters an endless cavern. He sings a hymn of madness and despair, summoning that which is not dead, for it cannot die.
That's not the future. Lived through that, and you probably heard about it in some ballad.
My third eye grows foggier the older I become. But if you bought me some dragon's root...
Rare plant.
Rare indeed. But it did once grow in a cave southeast of here.
Fine. I'll see what I can do.
Find dragon's root using your Witcher senses. Yep. Sure am.
Traitor. Nilfgaard's lackey.
But yeah, so I mean, I think it's pretty cool that they have. The CEO of CD Projekt Red recently spoke to Reuters news service, and talked about, you know, sort of the future. They are working on a game and have been for a while based on Cyberpunk, which is a comic series, I believe. And but they've said that they will be, you know, supporting and expanding on Witcher 3 Wild Hunt through all the way through 2016. So for the next, you know, 18 months or so, it's going to be Witcher Wild Hunt stuff. And then, you know, they'll be looking ahead to the Cyberpunk game, which they announced a few years ago, but as far as I can tell, their main focus right now is, and for the foreseeable future, is Witcher 3. So I'm really excited about the future for this game. You know, it's a really fantastic game so far. And as far as I can, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it can only get better from here. I need to stop looting everything sometimes. I think, you know, sort of going forward, I'm going to try to be a little bit more cognizant about, like, how much time I'm spending doing things, and making sure that, you know, I'm getting some things done in a more timely manner. Which is not to say that I'm going to, like, significantly change the way I play the game, because so far I think I've been doing okay. But I think I do need to watch, for instance, like how much time I'm spending on inventory management, and looking through menus and stuff. Because I have had a couple episodes already that have just been like a lot of inventory management and a lot of just parsing through menus and stuff like that. And I don't want to spend quite as much time. And you know, I think a lot of that is just because it's early game, and I only just recently started playing, and I'm still new to the game. I'm still learning the game, so I'm still sort of working my way through how to do some stuff. And also the fact that I'm new to Let's Plays and new to, you know, recording myself playing a game. So all of those things combined have made it so that, you know, I'm doing certain things, and I'm paying more attention to how I play, I guess, and I might make some, you know, very slight alterations for the sake of recording going forward. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. And if, you know, again, you know, if you have feedback for me, by all means, just let me know. You know, comments or
Dragon's Root.
tweet me or
Whatever can really help the old man see the future.
I guess we'll find out if we can help the old man see the future in a minute here. Of course, I get lost because I suck at directions. I'm losing my way real easy. Nope. Wrong way, Frodo, wrong way. Pay attention to the map, please, Frodo. Ugh. The sunlight with the cat potion is just wow. Wow. Yeah. This is why I meditate. To get rid of it. Because I cannot see in the sunlight with the cat potion active. It looks very pretty, you know, without the cat potion though. I'm like, oh, can I kill those guys? Maybe I should just actually go back to this Soothsayer first. Ye old, can I climb this hill or do I need to go around it game? I don't know. That's my cat. Yeah, at this point I was like, alright, I'm just gonna go back to the Soothsayer and we'll see how it goes. If he has anything interesting to say to me. So yeah, I really enjoy playing, sort of role-playing as Geralt as I play the game, and trying to do things as I sort of see, you know, my interpretation of the character as being.
Oh,
let's see what the old man has to say.
Got what you asked for.
Thank ye. Now I need a moment. I see a wolf striving forward towards a solitary tower midst a blizzard. He follows the swallow, yet the swallow does not heed the wolf's howls, soaring higher and higher, for it knows 'tis its last flight. As to others say, so shall it be. Look for the signs. The world will perish amidst ice and be reborn with the new sun. Reborn of the elder blood, of Hen-Iker, of a planted seed.
Ithleen's prophecy.
Leave me be. Go. Go now.
Fascinating. Alright, so we're about 50 minutes in. So it's probably a good place to pause for the moment and take a little break. So yeah, we'll be back with some more, you know, post commentary as I try to fill in for my mistake with the muted mic. And we'll see how it goes. Yeah.